is spelled DEDALISPLATENSIBUS. 2. A fragment of Euripides, EURIPIDES. Melanipe captiva, which is spelled MELANPECAPTIVA. Characters of bad and good women, 4466B. And then 3. Large extracts in iambic verse from the Exodus, a tragedy by the Jewish dramatist Ezekiel, 436C 10 through 446D2, on which Schuler, Jewish people, I 3:224. And then 4. Fragments of an epic poem on Jerusalem by a Jew named Philo, 421C D, 430C, 453A, CF, Shor Ibid 222. And then 5. 8 extracts from the epic poem of Theodotus on the Jews describing Sichem and narrating the story of the sons of Emor, EMMOR, which is 426B through 429A. CF Shor Ibid 224. And 6. Many of the oracles quoted by Eunomaus, or Oenomaus, OENOMAUS, in the detection of impostors, 209C through 234A. Then 7. All the oracles contained in the work of Porphyry on the philosophy to be derived from oracles, 123D through 124B, 145A through 146B, 168B to 175C. Or no, 168B and then 175C. These oracles, with their context, are carefully edited by Wolff in his work Porph de Philos, PORPH, comma, or period, DEPHILOS, period, EX, ORACULIS, HAURIENDA, ex auriculis horrenda, of which they form the chief substance. 8. Pender FR insert 2 105. There's just a bunch of crazy stuff on that one. Okay. Basically, this is the quotations that's going through. There's a whole bunch of them on there. On the conclusion, the work, which has been my chief occupation and my delight for several years, is now drawing to a close. I have to renew my thanks to friends already mentioned in the preface to Volume I, to Dr. Sunday, whose counsel and encouragement first led me to add to the English translation a revised text, to Dr. Redpath, by whose many useful suggestions and careful corrections of the proof sheets I have been aided throughout. Tutor John Meyer, the professor of Latin in the University of Cambridge, and Dr. Joseph Meyer, to the Rev. W.R. Ing, one of the rare students of Plotinus, to Dr. H.H. Turner, F.R.S. Sullivan, professor of astronomy, and last but least to delegates, secretary, and other officers of the Clarendon Press, to whose unfailing kindness and invaluable help I am most deeply indebted. Of the inadequacies of my own work I am painfully conscious. To do full justice to so large compilation from all branches of ancient literature, the editor himself should be historian, poet, philosopher, archaeologist, astronomer, ethnologist, and I certainly am none of these. For all errors and defects which remain uncorrected, I can only trust to receive the indulgence for which old age not often pleads in vain. Try reading it. He did a good job, other than reading my own things. But this was, I believe, book 1, part 1, and he's basically bringing up an introduction to what's going on in the book. There's a part 2, 3, and 4 2 that goes to it, and this is book 1, part 1, so there's a book 1, part 2, I believe, and I will have that one going on later on, but I am going to stop here because I know that this is a pretty long video, and I'm probably going to have to go through and, well, I know I'm going to have to do it, but I'm going to have to go through and put my sound on the XSplitter because these XSplitters just have crappy audio. But before I stop, I want to also point out, when this book was going on, you have to remember that this was during the time that Christianity was being adopted into the Roman Empire, okay, and it was going from the Christians being persecuted to them not being persecuted, and Eusebius is beginning to criticize the pagans and their beliefs and things of that nature, and at the same time what's happening is these pagan beliefs start to merge into the Christian beliefs, and the Jewish beliefs are starting to become an issue too. And then he's writing also about the Egyptians, and during that time period, Egypt was actually a Christian. It was a part of the Roman Empire, and it was a part of the Christian beliefs, and that was the beginning of the mystery schools. People had to hide out because they didn't want to be, considered heretic and killed for it. So far I've gotten through divisions of the Tuat, divisions 1 through 3, and I also did the small summary that came before that, and in another book I did Preparatio Evangelica, book 1, So after that, I figured I would go into telling the story of Hypatia before I continue, because this is all part of my series, the mystery or the history of the mystery schools. And for me personally, I don't think that telling the story without mentioning Hypatia would really work out too well, because I mean, Hypatia is actually a part of that. A lot of this sets up the atmosphere for later, and the reasons behind why the mystery schools influenced a lot of the hermetic beliefs that happened during the Middle Ages and the Dark Ages and all that. So these are philosophies that are really, really old, and they influenced the way the hermetic beliefs and traditions actually started. So with that being said, I will start my story on Hypatia. Hypatia was born 350 to 370 AD and died in 415 AD. And she was a Hellenistic Neoplatonist philosopher, astronomer, and mathematician who lived in Alexandria, Egypt, then part of the Eastern Roman Empire. She was the head of the Neoplatonic school at Alexandria, where she taught philosophy and astronomy. She is the first female mathematician whose life is reasonably well recorded. Hypatia was renowned in her own lifetime as a great teacher and wise counselor. Although no writings directly written by her have survived, it is thought that she may have edited the surviving text of Euclid's Elements and Ptolemy's Almagest, and possibly co-written some of the commentaries attributed to her father, Theon of Alexandria, who also wrote a 13-volume commentary on Diophantus's Arithmetica, which may survive in part, having been interpolated into Diophantus's original text, and an 8-volume popularization of Apollonius of Pergas's treatise on conic sections, which has not survived. She is known to have constructed astrolabes and hydrometers, but did not invent either of these, which were both in use long before she was born. Although she herself was a pagan, she was tolerant towards Christians and taught many Christian students, including Synesius, the future bishop of Ptolemais. Towards the end of her life, Hypatia advised Orestes, the Roman prefect of Alexandria, who was in the midst of a feud with Cyril, the bishop of Alexandria. Rumors spread accusing her of preventing Orestes from reconciling with Cyril, and in March 415 AD she was murdered by a mob of Christian monks known as the Paraballeri, under the leadership of a lector named Peter. Hypatia's death shocked the empire and transformed her into a martyr for philosophy.